What's going on, squad? Another video with Zach Vago, aka the Weight Loss Professor. And in today's video, I want to be discussing what is the best secondary macronutrient that I recommend between fats and carbs. So if you don't already know, I say secondary because primary, our most budgeted macronutrient should always be protein. I don't care what your goals are. If it's weight loss, weight gain, it's always should be protein unless you don't really care about your physical health. I don't even care if you're a vegetarian. I don't care what type of diet you're on. Protein should always be your main priority budgeted macro. Secondary. Okay, we got fats and carbs. Here's what we have to take into account. Fats are 9 calories per 1 gram. Carbs are 4 calories per 1 gram. Fats are 9, carbs are 4. So you could eat more than 2 times the amount of carbs for one single fat. So we got to keep that in mind. If we are, and let me talk through you my method of thinking. If we are on a diet for weight loss, the first thing that you probably think of is hunger cravings, right? You probably think starving. I've been on more weight loss journeys than years I've been alive. So I get the whole starvation thing and always feeling hungry, and it sucks. And because of that, we need to keep in mind our stomach capacity and how to fill up our stomach to actually be full. Okay? And sure, you can go into slow digesting, fast digesting foods. Let's keep it brain dead simple. Okay, in this video, I'll talk more about slow digesting and fast digesting foods. I have in the past. Feel free to scroll through my YouTube or podcast channel on Spotify or Apple. I have tons of videos talking about slow and fast digesting carbs and proteins. Okay, if we're talking filling up our stomach, if we were talking about needing volume, eating for volume is pretty much kind of what we say in the whole weight loss world of things. It's high volume, right? High volume, low calories. You've heard that before. The whole idea is I would recommend carbs to be your secondary macro. I'm going to be honest. This is because you're going to get the most volume, like I've just ranted on about for the last 2 minutes. Volume is key. You want to be eating, or you want to be feeling like you're eating as much as possible, right? And protein is the same amount of calories per gram as carbs, by the way. So just another reason why protein is so goated. Okay? Okay. Now let's break down carbs. Because carbs can be very miscategorized. Fruit and veggies are a carb. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not demonizing them. I'm just saying you have to understand just because something's a fiber doesn't mean it's not a carb. And I hate talking to people where they're like, a vegetable is not a carb. What do you mean, Zach? It's got no correlation to pizza. I said it's not the same type of carb. I said it's a carbohydrate. Read a nutrition label of a vegetable and tell me it's not a carbohydrate. You won't be able to. Okay, so I go into that lecture because what makes up a carb, so there's subdivisions. Except for protein, there are subdivisions of what makes up the macro. So for fat, you have your unsaturated, trans, saturated, right? Different, or even omega fatty acids. Those are all the different types of subgroups that go into the macro fat. For carbs, you got sugar, you have included added sugar, you have fiber. Fiber is lower in calories because it takes your body more time to digest it. Fiber is naturally slow digesting compared to a sugar. Sugar is fast digesting, meaning it hits your bloodstream pretty quickly. That's why you never feel satiated after consuming very high sugar types of food like ice cream, like donuts, like cookies, Oreos. You don't feel satiated, right? You can just keep eating, keep eating, keep eating. It's because your body feels like it's not eating anything, to be honest. So fiber is not only less calories, but takes your body longer to digest, meaning it's going to actually fill you up for longer because your body has to work harder over a long period of time to actually make room in your stomach and absorb all the nutrients. But the key that it's less calories is better overall for your calorie budget. It means you could eat more. Okay. And I don't teach net carbs. I always teach, um, is it just total carbs? What's the opposite of net carbs? I don't teach net carbs. Whatever the opposite of net carbs is, total carbs. I always teach total carbs because here's the thing. Insoluble and soluble fibers, these are two different fibers. So remember when I said there's trans fat, saturated fat, all the different fats that go into fats? Now there's a different few fibers that go into fiber that goes into carbohydrates. So this gets very complex. Let's keep it at a basic level. You have carbs, subdivision fiber, and then a subdivision of insoluble and soluble fibers. Both of these two fibers have different amounts of calories, and when people start trying to dictate those, they count the carbs wrong and they count total calories wrong, and then they end up overestimating calories, and now they're gaining weight instead of losing weight. So I would always recommend someone to count total carbs for total calories purposes instead of net carbs and having a lower estimated calorie amount. And then you're going to end up eating more because you think you have an extra 200 calories and you don't. Now you're 200 calories over your deficit, you're gaining weight. Always overestimate, then underestimate. Because what happens is if you overestimate and you're wrong, you're going to lose weight. If you underestimate and you're wrong, you're going to gain weight. Hope that makes sense. So back to my lecture. Carbs inherently are low calorie, high volume if fiber-based sources compared to fat. Fat like your nuts, your avocados, your salad dressings, let's see, your peanut butters, all nut butters. A lot of those types of foods are just they're calorically dense, obviously, but they're easily consumed more portion-wise than they were made for. So a portion of peanut butter is, what, 1 tablespoon? Something really small. Something super small. Even nuts. You could have like a small glass. I don't have a glass, but I wish I could show you. A small cup of nuts is like, could be 400 calories depending on how deep and depth the cup is. But literally, fats are horrible, calorically dense. I'm not saying to never include fats. They're actually our hormone regulation type of macro. But you need to be cognitive that the calories add up real quick. Butter, fat sources of meat, eggs. I don't know what else. It's literally any fat source because of the 9 calories per 1 gram in comparison to 4 calories per 1 gram for protein and carbs. You can eat double the amount. You can have 1 carb and 1 protein, and it's still less calories than 1 gram of fat. Guys, we got to be smart. If we're talking weight loss, if we're talking trying to fight hunger cravings, the best way to go about your macro split is priority protein, secondary carb, and then I don't even know what you call the triple. The third priority would be your fat percentage, and your fats probably at that point should be coming from butter, should be coming from a fatty source of meat, eggs, very good healthy fat sources, not legumes, not nuts. Avocado is a great one, very healthy, but easily overly consumed. You got to be measuring all your fats to make sure that you aren't eating too many calories from fat, or else then your whole calorie budget's just going to be off the wagon. So yeah, high volume. If you want to fight hunger cravings, if you want to fill up your stomach, if you want to eat like a Viking at a feast, carbs are the way to go as a secondary. I always like to promote meat and veg as a main dish. If it means it's a fatty meat, go for it. That's okay. But I love that combination. You could even throw in rice. Throw in rice and combine it with cauliflower rice and have a meat with it. That's the best meal ever. Have a different sauce every time you eat it. Oh, you can make chicken parm, Alfredo chicken. You can make teriyaki chicken, Thai chili chicken, sweet barbecue, honey barbecue, whiskey barbecue, mesquite barbecue. You could literally, if you give me chicken and a vegetable, I could make like 7,000 different flavorful, different meals with just the meat and veg. It's fantastic. Be smart with it. High volume, low calories. Focus on carbs as your secondary macro. Peace out until next video, and hit me up if you want me to discuss a topic that's been on your mind or that might help you on your weight loss journey. I'm looking forward to hearing topics and personally helping whoever I can with these informational videos or podcast episodes wherever you're watching. Peace out.